Hey everyone, it's Joy here for Tailored Expressions. I am super excited to share the Squeeze the Day stamp, die, and coordinating stencil because I really love everything lemon. So this is the stamp set that you're going to get. You can see there's some cute sentiments in there. Then you have the coordinating dies and then some lemon dies. And then you have a stencil that is great for creating backgrounds, which is what I'm going to be doing. I also have toffee and sugar cube cardstock. I will also be using some vellum, some foam sticky strips, the Petite scalloped rectangle die, lemon meringue and honey, Granny Smith and Peapod inks, and then some bitty blender brushes. Okay, let's start on this background. I have my piece of toffee cardstock that's A2 sized taped down to my grid paper, and I have the lemon stencil on top. And I'm just starting with the lemon meringue, and I'm using the bitty blender brushes. For this part, you could use a full-size brush because it would make it go quicker, but I'm using the bitty ones because I'm going to add a little bit of shading with my next color. So that's going to be the honey. And I know sometimes when you look at lemons, there's some little darker areas and things like that, which is what I want to create even for this background. So I'm going to take the honey, and as you can see, I'm just adding in some little areas on a side or the bottom or the top of the lemon. And this is just going to give it a nice shadow effect, which is going to give our images a little bit of dimension, and then they won't be so flat. And it's super, super easy to do. So I'm going to peel this up, and then I'm going to bring in the second stencil, which is the really super pretty leaves. And I'm using Granny Smith and Peapod for this. So I'm just going to get this lined up, and you can kind of see where the leaves line up to the lemons. And then I'm just going to tape this in place. And I will start with Granny Smith because it's the lightest color. And I'm going to do the same thing for this. Again, I want to have a little bit of dimension. I don't want my images to look so flat. And it's super easy to do when you're ink blending. So Granny Smith first. Then Peapod is going to be at the top. So, or at the base of the leaves where the stems are, just a little bit of color there, which is going to add some dark areas, and it's going to make these leaves just look even more awesome than they already are. So I'm going to finish that up, and when I peel it back, you're going to see just how pretty this is, and I really love it on the toffee cardstock. That yellow ink absolutely shows up perfectly, but look at the dimension that the leaves and the lemons have here. So I also used the coordinating dies. I just die cut that from sugar cube cardstock. They're not coordinating, they don't die cut the stencils, but they do make their own lemons. So I am just ink blending that with the lemon meringue. Then with the honey, I'm not going to blend, but I'm gonna tap. So I dipped it in my honey ink, and then I'm just gonna tap because it's gonna give that stippled look. And it's going to add even more interest to these lemons. You could have done that on the background too, but I wanted these to stand out a little different and to feel a little more realistic. So again, I'm just tapping with the ink instead of actually like blending in a circle. I don't want to do that. You could do that and it would still be just as cute, but I really do like this effect. The leaves, again, are the same color, the Granny Smith and Peapod, and I'm just going to quickly ink these up. There's also some flowers in the die and some little centers. So I do have some flowers up there. There's 5 flowers and 5 centers. I'm keeping this whole card in this complete same color scheme. I did not deviate from the green and yellow other than that toffee cardstock. So I'm going to use the Peapod ink for the centers of the flowers. And then I'm actually going to bring in 2 Copic markers, just some light yellow Copic markers, to add a little bit of color to the flowers so they will still feel on the lighter side of the lemons even though they are yellow. So I'm just going to blend that out a little bit, and then I can add the centers to these. I'm just going to add a little drop of glue, and then I can just use like my jewel picker and just pick up those little center pieces and pop those right inside. Super quick, super, super easy. Then I want to do the sentiment. It says, "Hey, sweet friend," and I'm going to ink that up in the lemon meringue ink on some sugar cube cardstock, and then I can use the coordinating die to die cut that out. I love a coordinating die for sentiments. I think it makes it so super easy to place it however you want. So I'm going to tape that down with some low tack tape and run that through my die cut machine, and then we can get this card put together. Now I die cut, first I added this to a white A2 size card base. I did not trim down that back panel. I love the whole panel, but I did cut a piece of vellum using the Petite scalloped rectangle dies. Now, I like vellum on my cards for especially backgrounds like this because it kind of diffuses that background, especially if you're going to use a similar die cut image or stamped image. So I have this piece of vellum that's going to diffuse the background from the front lemons, and I just think it totally works. So I'm just adhering the lemons to the leaves with a little bit of liquid glue. I did use some foam sticky strips behind the sentiment because I do like sentiments to have dimension, and I will adhere these lemons at the top. This first center lemon I will add some foam tape behind, but the rest of them I will adhere directly to the vellum. Now, I have not adhered the vellum to the background yet. I like to add all of my images, my sentiments, everything to my vellum first. Then I can hide the glue or the adhesive, whatever you're going to be using, the foam sticky strips, anything behind those images, so that way you don't see it, obviously, because vellum is see-through. So I just added a tiny bit of liquid glue, being careful to not let any of that squish out. And then I want to finish by adding these little cute little flowers. There's 5 of them. And I'm just going to add them all over the lemons, which I don't know. These flowers kind of bring the whole card to life. Super, super cute. Okay, guys, this card is completely finished. I love the Squeeze the Day stamp die and coordinating stencil. Makes for an easy, quick card, but look at how fun these are. Thank you guys so very much for stopping by and watching. You can find all of these products at the Tailored Expressions web store at tailoredexpressions.com.